Hello and welcome to another edition of Andy Shed Live. This is Series 13, episode number 2 for Sunday, the 6th of August 2023. Hello there everybody and welcome to the show. We are here once again. It is, the 6th of August today, and welcome aboard. For this show this evening. Not quite sure how far we'll get tonight because I've got a bit of a cough. I've been a bit ill over the last couple of days. I don't know what I've had, but I've had something. But I'm improving now. You'll be pleased to know. But I'm still not quite entirely right with it all. What's everybody up to in the chat? Oh, there's plenty of people in the chat already. Just make it a bit bigger so I can read it. There we go. Bill's is here, Miguet's here, Fungi is here, Dominic's here, and Wesley's here. Bill says, hello Andy, soon to lose signal as on a holiday, but thank you so much and the others for your help with the 3.3 resistor thing. I got my Bakelite phone fully working now, and happy to have posted a video on my YouTube channel. And Dominic has also had a success this week. He's got his Marantz tape deck working, CP430, which is more than I managed to do with my one. I've got one that's been not working ever since I got it, which is years ago. So yeah, Dominic's done better than me on that score, definitely. Right. If you want to join us in the chat, you know how to do it. We're on YouTube at the minute. I say at the minute because we may be switching to another stream provider soon. YouTube is messing about. I have set this stream to only play skippable video ads, and I've just watched it on another device and it's playing a non-skippable ad in the stream when I set it to only play skippable ones. So YouTube are taking the mittle, so it's time to start looking at moving away from YouTube, I think. So if we're not here next week, get on the website andyshed.coldpress.net to find out where we are if you can't find us here next time. Actually, we're not on next week. I'm having a week off next week because I'm out at a stationary engine rally. But we'll be on only in a couple of weeks time. But if you can't find us, get on there, andyshed.coldpress.net, and you should be able to find us through that. We will post updates on there if we move somewhere else. Right. We will get on with it while my voice holds out tonight. Dominic says he sent over some photos of the tape deck, which he has indeed done. Shall I see if I can find them for you? Let's have a little look. Where are we? Right, let's see if we can find these photos. There they are, but how do we get them onto here? This is the bit I always have trouble with. Alright. Just bear with me one moment. And we'll see what we can do. just trying to sort it so you can see it. Right, that should be it. So there it is. There's Dominic's tape machine in all its glory. Like I say, I've got one like this, but mine doesn't work. And there's the innards of it, showing all the rubber belts that is replaced. Now, full disclosure, Dominic's this is actually the second one of these that Dominic's got, because the first one that he got, he's got the same problem that I've got with mine, couldn't get it going. So this is the second one that he originally bought for spare parts, and then decided it was in much better condition than the original one that he'd got. Isn't that always the way when you buy one for spares? Yeah, at least he's got one of them going, which is good, I guess. So that is Dominic's tape machine, which is operational now. So well done, Dominic, for that. Right, what else have we had? Yes, Gambo's been busy as well this week. This is one of his latest buys coming up next. It says it needs looking at. It needs a new dial. And it's making a weird noise apparently, but this is what he's got. If I can show you it, here we go. It's an American 500 series. As you can see, it's missing its dial. It's only missing its finger wheel, I think. It's only missing its finger wheel, that. But good luck getting one of those in this country that's not attached to a phone, because they're not exactly common as a spare part. I could do with a couple of those myself. But yeah, it's quite a nice phone. I would say 500 series. There it is. There's the bottom of it. There's the various markings. It says, for immediate repair, return this set to your nearest phone centre. When this set is no longer required, please return it to your nearest phone centre. If not returned, the value of this set will be charged to your final bill. I wonder what they would charge if you kept it. But, yeah, it's a relatively late 500 series. You can tell that by the fact that these feet are round on it. If it was an old one, the feet would be sort of triangular with rounded corners on. They wouldn't be round like that if it was an early one. So it's a relatively recent one, that made by ITT apparently. So yeah, have we got any more photos of it? Oh yes, yeah, we've got some more. Here it is again. There you go. That's another picture of it. And you can see missing the finger wheel. And here's the insides of it. And you can tell it's a relatively modern one because it's got the open network you see there on the left. Early ones had everything potted inside a big box, and that they called the network, but on later ones it was all sort of open like that. So it is a relatively recent 500 series, but still quite a nice phone. I quite like them. Much easier to work on in general than the GPO phones of the same era. Much easier. So yes, that's what that's what people have been doing recently. And previously to all this, Christopher's been doing things. Just looking, and he's got a GPO handset on his ham radio, apparently. This is an interesting one. There you go. I'm not quite sure how a GPO handset connected to a ham radio works, but he says that handset's got a button on it. If you look carefully, it has, and that's unusual. There was often a volume control there. There was some that had a volume control on. Amplifying handsets for the harder hearing had a volume control there, but a button is unusual. So I'm wondering if that always was a handset off some sort of ham radio or something. Because these handsets were put on all kinds of equipment, of course, not just telephones. You found them on all sorts of things. So that's that one from Christopher. And I think that's it. I think that's all the ones we've had recently. Oh, it was on last week about his red 706, wasn't he? Here's some pictures that he sent of it that I didn't manage to show last week. But here they are. Here's the red 706, obviously upside down there. No markings on the bottom. And note the different feet as well at one end to the other end. The bottom end seems to have the early feet, the sort of flat or domed feet, and the top there has got the later feet with the recess in them. But this is supposed to be quite an early 706. And there it is. Now, is it original? He asked me this question before I bought it, and I'm tempted to say no, it's a bit too good. Certainly the dial surround looks original on that. It looks like it's painted on the back as it should be. What doesn't look right is the dial centre. I believe the opal in the middle of that is one off a 746, and it's not the solid one that you should have on a 706. You can tell by looking at the edges of it and how it refracts the light. So that doesn't look quite right, and I'm suspicious about the curly cord on it because it just looks too good, that, for an old phone. I'm wondering if that's been replaced at some point. But I think it's generally pretty good. It's a genuine phone, I think. So yeah, quite a nice one there. So there you have it. That's what people have got and what they've all been up to over the last week or so. Gambo says he just bought a JVC tape deck. His Sony tape deck is away to a repair shop. To a repair shop, not the repair shop. It's not going to be on the telly, is it? It's not going there. Dominic says, I wonder if they destroyed Return 500 phones when the phone companies discontinued them. Probably quite a lot of them, but quite a lot of them have also survived as well. Because I've got a good shelf full, let's say. So, Dominic says about the handset, he says BR had ones with a button, he thinks, for the guards intercom on trains. Yeah, I think you might be right there, Dominic. I believe they did, yeah. Perhaps that's, or a version of that is what is what he's got there. Yeah. Of course, they did have trains in Australia that were basically based on British designs as well, so I wonder if that's where that handset originates from. Wesley says it looks like that red phone's got repro parts on it. I couldn't decide, Wesley. Christopher asked me to have a look at it before he bought it. He sent me the photos, and I was of the opinion that the dial surround, which is the first thing that I look at and say, is it printed on the surface or is it painted on the back as it should be? I thought the dial surround looked good. You know, it looked like it was painted on the back as it should be, but I'm not 100% sure about the finger wheel on it. The finger wheel looks a bit sus to me, but it's very hard to tell without actually having it in your hand, isn't it? But it's not bad. It's not bad. If it has got repro bits on it, there's some of the better repros, let's put it that way. Right. How are we getting on? Gambo says, the first email I sent a voicemail thingy, not sure if it works. I'm not sure either. I've not tried it, to be honest with you, Gambo. Not had a go at that. Shall we see if it shall we see if it did it? Yeah, I see what you mean about making a weird noise, Gambo. Right, I'm going to try and turn this up so people can hear it. Right, have a listen to this and see what you think. No, I've got no idea what's going on there. How is it, if it's a mechanical dialing, which are the clicks, how is it making those tony sort of sounds? Got no idea what's happening there. Gambo says in his second email he found out what was going on in the description from eBay. So we'll have a little look, shall we? So let's see what is indeed happening there. Right. So it says in the description, US Canadian 500 ITT telephone, rotary dial spares or repair, dial half missing, rotor tone fitted but not working. Dial dial cables not connected due to rotor tone, needs rewiring and may have missing components. Rings on incoming calls as dial tone, but also rotor tone is beeping in background. Right. I'll tell you what I'd do, Gambo. Tell you what I'd do with the rotor tone. Have you got a bin anywhere handy? Because that's where I put the rotor tone. Yeah. They're just overpriced, hopeless devices. They really are. Well, I can show you some more of the photos now. So here's the pictures. We've got, so here's picture number 1. There's the innards of it, and that little red device there, I believe that is the rotor tone. That red thing there, I think that's the rotor tone. But there's all sorts of strangeness going on there. I mean, there's seems to be a transistor wired in there somewhere along the line. Not sure that that's supposed to be there, but I don't know on these open units. It's a bit of an oddball. I think that's just all been wired up wrong somehow. It's quite nice though, because it's not been modularised. It's still got what they call the mouse hole for the cords to go through. I can see there. It's not had the hole cut square in one of those modular sockets put in. So it's quite a nice non-modular one. So I'm quite impressed with it. Yeah, there's the description. So that's what happened to Gambo's phone. It's got a rotor tone. So I think you need to take the rotor tone out, Gambo. It seems like it's not working. It may be faulty. It may be that it's just not wired up right. But yeah, take it out. Get the phone working without it, at least for a start. And then if you want to put a rotor tone in, then go from there, because you know you're starting from a working phone then. Yeah, that's what I'd do anyway. Oops, wrong camera. Yeah, so that's that. That's Gambo on that. Right, so you've all got nice clean phones there. Now the patrons excuse me, the patrons who are watching will have seen on a Patreon, and if you're not a patron already, you can become one here, patreon.com/AndyShed. But the patrons will have seen this week that something arrived here in the post, and it has to be another candidate for one of the grottiest phones that's ever arrived. Really has to be a candidate for it. I'm getting it now. I'm putting it in position now, so you can see it. I'm sticking it under a camera for you to have a look at it. But it really is a mess. So are you ready for this? Ready? Brace yourselves. There you go. It's a 300 series. Having a bit of a Bakelite fest at the moment, because it's not the only Bakelite phone to arrive this week, and there are some more coming as well. This was it a tenner or 20 quid? This, I think it was a tenner, and as you can see, it is absolutely filthy. The dial is stuck solid. It's got a plastic curly cord on it, which is okay for a refurbished 300 series. The cord here, though, it's a plastic could, but it did originally have like a cotton covering on it, but it's all been eaten away or fell off or at some point. So it's in a bit of a state, this, and if I turn it over and let you have a look underneath it, look at the state of that. Now, the reason I bought this, and the reason I wouldn't run away laughing, is because actually the Bakelite casing is in perfect condition on it. Although it's filthy, it's in perfect condition. And I've got some innards for these phones that haven't got casings, that haven't got handsets. So, worst comes to the worst, we'll take all these innards out and replace them. But I would actually quite like to get going as much of this as I can. But it really does look sort of beyond hope, a lot of it. So shall we take it out and have a look and see what's going on with it? Because it's exciting, to say the least. So I think what we're going to do today, I think we're going to basically strip this one down and start cleaning it up. So what we will do for a start, I think, is we will take out the workings. Now this shows it's a genuine UK 300 series, because the workings are not mounted on the base plate. I mean, the base plate is missing off this, but the workings are mounted up inside the phone. Indian replicas, all the workings are generally mounted on the base plate, which is one way of telling if you've got a real one or a replica. Right, that's out now. Right, the dial is all connected up. I'm going to disconnect at the dial end of this, I think. If I possibly can. So, right, got to try and do this without knocking everything off the desk. So go orange there, and can I actually undo it, or is it that one's undoing? Second one along, pink is coming undone. Right. Some are coming unscrewed, some are not coming unscrewed. I might need to get a different screwdriver to this. Luckily I've got my my genuine GPO toolbox in here today, so we'll get that on the job. And we'll see if we can find a screwdriver that will fit in those little screws. This one might do it. Oh yeah, that's got that one. That one doesn't seem to want to come undone though. Oh, that's it. We moved it. We have moved it. Right, there we go. So, that's out now. So I've separated the case now. Now, to get the dial off, what I've got to do is undo this little screw here. When you put your screwdriver in that little depression there in the case, onto this little screw. But this little screw is well corroded. So if this will... It is moving though. I'm amazed, but it is moving. Right. That's out, so I should now be able to twist that and get the dial out. So now the case is separated. Just look at the state of that, even on the inside. You don't actually want to know what it feels like to the touch. Have you ever seen a case in that kind of state before? I think we're going to take that and give that a wash fairly soon. So here's the dial. Stuck for some reason. I have no idea why, but it's stuck. We've got the remains of a label, something Tantine on that label there, look. So where could that have been? Any ideas? Something Tantine or Tantine. Right. And we have still got the split ring in the middle of there. Not the split ring. This thing. The spring ring thing. Spring ring thing. Yeah. Right. Let's now see if we can get this screw out. This is the crucial one. And if we can't undo this, we're in bother. Oh, it's gone. Thank God for that. Didn't think it was going to for a minute. Very important to get the right screwdriver. A screwdriver that's a good tight fit in the screws, so you don't chew the heads up. Wherever I go, I collect screwdrivers. You know, if ever I go to a rally or something and somebody's selling a box of tools, I just buy loads and loads of screwdrivers. Even if you think they're all the same size, they're not. Some are thicker than others, particularly Phillips headed ones. There's all kinds of different variations of a Phillips screwdriver and stuff. So yeah, I just buy whatever I can. If I see screwdrivers cheap anywhere, I buy them. And yeah, just have loads of them. Now, this is exciting. This is a plastic back painted dial, and a lot of it's come off. This may be beyond repair. Can we get it so it's not so bright? Somehow, so you can see it a bit better. But yeah, this what I have to do is there's a ring in here as well that has to come out, and this one is often quite difficult to get out, this ring. But there's no easy way, is there? If anybody knows an easy way of getting this ring out, let me know. Because there's like no way you can get behind it to prise it out. Right. Oh, got it, I think. There we go. Got it. So that's that. Then this should just fall out. But of course it ain't going to. There we go. And as you can see, there's hardly anything left on that of the painting. Now it's interesting that, because if I hold it against something white, you'll see it's possibly only the white that's gone. Can you see the numbers and that are still there? So if I clean that carefully, I might be able to repaint the white and the numbers and that are still there on it. So we might get away with that with a bit of careful cleaning. Says he, hopefully. But why is this dial stuck? And it is properly stuck, that. Is it to do with this? Often when dials are stuck, it's to do with this clutch mechanism. And the answer is, a lot of times, to take that out and replace it. And this one looks particularly seized up. So this is the dial 12, so it's a little bit different to a dial 21. There's a bit more to take out, unfortunately, on a dial 12. Why is that so stiff? That shouldn't be stiff like that to remove. Right, what is going on there? That is out now. Now, still tight there, but this now should drop out. Now this should be released now. There you go. But it's all jammed up. And that should just lift off. Oh, there it goes. Right, now this should simply lift out now. Yep, is it turning? That? No, of course it's not. Right, so this should just lift out now. Let me see. How we can do that. Can I grab it with this pair of pliers? There we go. Got it. Right. Is it going to play ball? What you can sometimes do is hold that pinion with a pair of pliers. And with this, now I can see that some of the teeth on this are broken, and it's absolutely seized up anyway, this, and I know from experience when these are that seized you cannot get them apart again. These, now it's not too bad because these are on dial 21s as well, but these are a bit that you often have to replace, and as far as I know nobody makes these anymore. So this is the Achilles heel of the telephone dial, because you can't get these new, but you need them. So I end up stripping dials down just to get this bit out a lot of the time, just for one of these. And as you can see from this, if I hold this up close to the camera, you can see it is damaged. If I rotate that round, you can see, look, some damaged teeth on it there anyway. So that's really not worth bothering with. That's going to have to be replaced, I'm afraid. But now, does everything else rotate? No, not really. This is really bad. This is one of the worst dials for corrosion I've ever seen. and I think the spring's gone in it as well. Can you hear it squeaking? It's very, very bad. I think we might have to dismantle this entirely to find out what's going on. So we'll take the spring set out. Now the spring set holds together because the spring set has screws through it. You see there? Now those two screws, you can safely take those two screws there out. The spring set, which is all these things here, will not fall apart because there's another screw the other way. You see the head of it in the middle at the top there, and that will hold them all together. So you can safely take these two out. Which we will now attempt to do. Hopefully these will not put up too much of a fight. Oh no, there we go. That's one. Just undo it a bit and start the other one. Nope, they're coming out okay. And they're a lot longer than you think they're going to be, those. So there they go. And there's your spring set out. So that's okay, I would venture to suggest. But it looks like the actual spring inside here is not so hot. I would say. So, I can't say that I've ever dismantled dial 12 this far before. I think now it's going to be a case of removing some more bits, and I'm just wondering if we take these two screws out or if we go in from this end. Let's try these two. Oh, they're not going to come out. Nope. So what we'll end up doing is trying to take these nuts off, I think, and they're going to be tight as well, aren't they? Got one of them. Got two of them. And then when you get those, of course, you get this little lever as well, and a little washer that goes under it. Then you can take that off, and your spring is in there. And you should be able to just give that a little tap. And knock that out, like that. So you then have another washer there. And here's your spring. And I can see that that spring in there is broken because there's two ends in the middle. There's the bit that should be going into the middle of the thing, right? And it goes around, and can you see there it's broken? So that little bit in the middle there will lift out. There you go, a bit of broken spring. So we need a new spring in it, but apart from that we should be alright. Right, let's see what folks are saying in the chat, see if anybody is suggesting anything that we can do here. Oh, my computer's doing weird things now. Right, okay. That's better. Right, let's see what folks are saying in the chat. Dominic says, oh yes, that 300 was pretty grotty. Dominic says, what's the date on the handset? Good question, Dominic. It's hard to read. It says on it 6457 on it. And I'll try and show you it. Right. If I can. Which way am I going with it? That way? There you go. 6457. I'm assuming one of those is the date. It's not got the normal number sort of over something else like a fraction thing. It's just got 6457. So I don't know much about Bakelites, but which one of those is the date? I'm guessing one of them must be. The other thing is, the other problem I've got with this is, this cap that screws off is absolutely solid. I've tried all sorts to get this off and it's solid. Does anybody know how to get these off? Because, as I say, it is absolutely rock solid. Right, what we done here then? We have now got this brass piece out. I wonder if there would be enough of that spring left to still use it if I could just bend the end somehow. So it has a stop on this under there, but what does that, what is that supposed to hit against? Is it this that it hits against that I took out? I think some cleaning up here is going to be required. There's a date on here. It looks like it. Right. Can anybody read the date on this? Right, there we go. Look. "12 FBR 63. Is it 63, do you think that? So does that mean this dial, this is a very late dial 12 dating from 1963, after dial 21s were in use, so it should be in really good condition, being a very late one, but it is in such bad condition. I am gobsmacked by the state of this. Absolutely gobsmacked. I think we're going to have to do quite a lot of cleaning up here. I'm going to take my headset off a minute and go and get a little pot to put the bits in. So the dog is laid in the package. Oh. Right. Now, luckily, I finished a tub of Asda ice cream the other day. That's really lucky, because it gives me a nice clean plastic tub. I can now put some of my bits in. Yeah, I think we need to have a bit of careful cleaning of that. I'll put this broken thing in, just so I know I need to get a new one. But yeah, so there you have it, the story so far of this 300 series. So there's a load of bits of dial that we'll all want cleaning up. So I'm going to put those in there for now and set those aside for a minute while we have now just a quick look at this, because this is unbelievable. I mean, just look at the state of it. I mean, the coils I can't imagine these coils are going to be any good. I really can't imagine they're going to be any good, these. I mean, everything is sort of delaminating, the clapper is stuck. Just everything is absolutely solid on it. So what I think we should do here is just take the cords off and take all these screws out, and we'll end up getting these cleaned up, I think. And when you get screws that are a bit crusty like this, I mean, they'll probably be good, but they're crusty. Yeah, they've got like verdigris on them. What I tend to do is put them in a polythene bag, one of those with a sort of zippy top thing on it. You know, quite good. Put all your screws in a polythene bag. Then squirt a load of WD-40 into it, so you've got WD-40 sloshing about in the bottom. Leave your screws in it, sort of marinate in the bag of WD-40, and every now and again just sort of shake them up and agitate them and whatnot, and rub them against each other, and they will eventually come out clean. But again, get a good screwdriver. It's a good fit, so you don't chew the heads up for getting them out. And this one is a good fit. I mean, I don't know who made this screwdriver, but it's very similar to the GPO ones. GPO often use footprint tools made in Sheffield, and of course I'm not far away from Sheffield here, so footprint tools do turn up. I don't know who made this one. I can't quite read a name on it. There's something written on it there. I don't think it's footprint though. Probably says something like foreign. But there is something written on it. Where's it gone now? Oh, it's there, coming around there. Oh. 10,000 volts is what's written on it. Let's not a name. Can't see a name on it, unfortunately. It might be footprint, I don't know. I don't know enough about them. Sometimes you can tell by the exact shape of these handles who made them, but I don't know enough about tools to know just off the top of my head. But like I say, I tend to collect screwdrivers, and I tend to collect these with these sort of translucent handles. I do tend to collect these if I find them, because I like them, and I have found a way of restoring these as well. If you get one that's all covered in paint and stuff, I have found a way of restoring them. When the lockdown started, I restored quite a few. In fact, this is one I think that I restored back then, and I found a way of making them shiny again. Eek. Ooh, a link. A link. Another link in amongst all the verdigris. Just have a look what folk are saying in the chat while I'm doing this. Gambo says the phone seems to still have the base plate screws attached, even though there's no base plate. Yeah, it does. 3 of them are, Gambo. I need to try and get those out. Whereas it says, Dominic, how's your digital voice? Any developments using anything for DTMF conversion? Dominic says, still no luck so far. Think I'll get myself a dialer tone converter. It says, although I am tempted to get a cheap S13E02 as a backup. Tony says, I don't currently have any DTMF phones at the moment, but it would be useful to get one to test this VoIP. Whereas it says, don't Britphone do finger plates for those dials? I think they do, Wesley, but I don't like to use sort of repro stuff if I can help it. I would rather use original stuff. I would rather fix the original stuff than use the repro stuff. Because I just don't like using repros. Although I spoke to Andy at Britphone, another Andy, and he tells me that their phone cases and that are actually made out of original GPO molds. So they are actually as close as to original as you can get, because they do use the original molds for them. So it is what it is. But what I don't like are those dial surrounds with the numbers and that printed on the surface. Really don't like those. And they're bad enough that they put me off buying other repro stuff. Although much of the other stuff, as I say, is actually better because it does use original molds. Gambo says, I'd saturate in WD-40 first. It's a good thought, Gambo. the thing about that is it makes it all slippery as well. So you win in that it might loosen some things, but you lose in that it makes your screwdriver slip and that. So I normally try and get it apart first, and if I fail, then I use penetrating fluid. But WD-40 is not the best thing to use. A much better thing to use as a penetrating oil is 50% acetone and 50% automatic transmission fluid. Now don't get it near anything plastic, because it might do weird things to plastic stuff. But if you've got nuts and bolts to get out of engines and things, the American restoration people swear by 50% acetone and 50% automatic transmission fluid, you know, the red smelly stuff. And I can vouch for it because I've tried it, and I had a Lister stationary engine, a Lister CS stationary engine that was, everything was rusted up solid on it, and I just painted this 50-50 mix on it for about a week, on every nut and bolt for about a week, just painted it on it. Every time I walked past it I just painted another load on with an old paintbrush, and after about a week every bolt came out easily. So it does seem to work, and I'm sure I would have sheared some had I not done it. So yeah, 50-50 acetone and ATF. Because of course WD-40 isn't really a penetrating fluid. What WD-40 is actually made for is a water dispersant, which is what the WD stands for, water dispersal. And it was actually developed for NASA to spray it on their space rockets, so ice didn't form on the rockets when they were on the launch pad. If you look at if you ever watch SpaceX's streams, or Everyday Astronaut when he streams SpaceX stuff, or NASA Spaceflight when they do it, and when you see a Starship being tested or launched, you'll see the Starship and the booster get absolutely covered in ice. Now it's not thick enough to matter, I don't think, the ice that gets on them, because they're such big rockets. But NASA used to think it mattered and didn't want too much ice build up, and so they thought, if we cover the thing in WD-40, water won't settle on it, so the amount of ice that can form on it is limited if there's no water on it. Right, we've got all those out. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go any further with that for now. I mean, what is tied on where? Now that is tied on there, isn't it? I do believe. So if I can get the terminal block off, I should be able to release the handset cord where it's tied on, because I'm hoping the handset cord might be alright. So there we go. Right. course this has got all wires on the bottom of it, but I can now slip that handset cord off of that post. Thing is, there's so much verdigris, it's actually stuck it to that post. I should now be able to slip that off there like that. What's that one? Oh, that's just a bit of the line cord. What's left? Alright, and I will screw that back down at this point. I mean, I'm going to have to get the soldering iron out and desolder everything, I think, on this. Or should I just change the innards completely for a cleaner one? So there we are. That is that. As you can see, absolutely shot. There's a date of 1963 on this as well. It was a 332 with a date of 63 on it, so it was a refurbished one, hence the curly handset cord. Just look at the bits dropping off it. I mean, even that isn't springy. It really is in a state, isn't it? So I think we'll leave that at that for now. Now, as somebody spotted, there are some screws left in the base of here, in the base of this. I'm going to see if they will come out. Yes. Oh, hang on. Nope. That has done something really odd, because the screw is like hollow in the bottom. Look at that. So that was your screw head. And look, it was, they've got a hole in the middle of it. So I think we're going to have to do a bit of drilling out there. Let's try another one. Nope. Going nowhere. Now these I might try my 50-50 Dragon's Blood mix on, because I don't think the acetone stroke ATF will harm Bakelite. Bakelite is a oh, let me get myself back in focus again. Bakelite is a material that not many things have any effect on. I mean, even the plungers are stuck on this. Now they should move freely, but they don't. There, they're up now. To do now. I mean, what you can do, of course, is wash this. And I probably am going to wash it. But another thing that you can do is you can get your trusty tin of Brasso, which is theoretically at least a slightly abrasive thing. Teacup works as well, which I think is a very similar thing to Brasso actually. And this will shine up Bakelite quite nicely. There we go. Polish that bit off. There. Look at the difference. It's crazy. Very satisfying when you can actually see some result of your work. There. Look at that. Almost like a new one. There's a bit of a difference, isn't there? I think you'll agree. And then what you do eventually is you polish it with boot polish. Old-fashioned waxy boot polish, you know, like kiwi polish. There. What a difference. What a difference. Look at the difference in that. So yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing this week then. Polishing that up by the looks of it. Right, I will get a little tub now to put some more bits in. Right, bear with me a moment again. I'm just going to go and get another little pot. I can't stress enough how important it is that if you go to KFC, if you go in KFC, one of the cheapest things on KFC's menu these days, if you want a meal, is a thing called a gravy mega box. And with the gravy mega box, you get a little pot of gravy. And the gravy is very nice. But the pot's plastic and it's brilliant for putting little bits of things in. So I save the pots every time I go, because they're very handy for putting stuff like this in. So I always save my little plastic tubs and things, particularly if they've got lids. There we go. All in there. Put the lid on. And then I go to my other box that I've put everything else in, and that little box will go inside that big box, hopefully. So all the bits of that phone are together. How cool is that? Top tip: KFC for the little pot, Asda for the ice cream box. So, right, I'll just clear a few things away. Alright, Thor the dog is here, he's watching me, making sure I'm behaving myself. Right, so this week I'm going to be continuing just cleaning all that up and doing all kinds of stuff with it. Let's have a look what folks are saying in the chat. Dominic says, I wonder if someone could 3D print a finger plate. I doubt it. It needs to be clear as well and be painted on the back, that's the thing. Gambo said, I bought a whole load of 4-pin BT431A telephone cable crimp connector plugs, as I had the crimp tool I seen in my parts area. I received the plugs, and yes, you guessed, the crimp tool's missing. Drat. Right, everybody seems to say 57 is the date on the phone, which it could be, and then being refurbished in 63. Gambo says that dial spring was probably broken donkeys years ago and stored to be repaired in a damp shed, and hence why the base has rotted away. Could well be, Gambo. You just never know, do you? After all these years, you don't know what sort of history these things have had. It would be nice if they could talk. What I've often said I should do, and I've never actually got round to doing it because I'm not very organised. But what I've always said I should do is, when I restore a phone and that, I should put a little note inside it, you know, write a little note of what I've done and when I've done it and who I am, and fold it up and sort of stick it inside the case somewhere, so that when the next person comes to restore it in the next 50 years, they got a little note from me saying what happened and when. I think that would be quite a nice thing to do, if everybody started doing that. Well, he says, I wouldn't be using that screwdriver on a 10 kV circuit. Dominic says, 3D print the dial clutch is what he meant. Oh, I don't know. You know, I've never taken one apart, one of those little clutch things. I don't know how they work. I've never successfully been able to take one apart, so I don't actually massively know what's inside them. I think there's a spring involved somewhere along the line in it, but I don't entirely know. Wesley says you might be better off drilling the entire inside out of the feet of the screws that hold the base on to that phone, and bonding in a brand new brass insert. You know, Wesley, I'm not sure they've got inserts in. The one that's come out, I can't actually see an insert. I think it's just straight into the Bakelite. Unless it's just dirty. You'd think there'd be some sort of little insert in there, wouldn't you? Wesley says, I've just googled the Gravy Mega Box. I must try one sometime. Yeah, they're alright, Wesley. Gravy Mega Box is good. Yeah, I can't see an insert in that, but there must be one. There must be one. I should be trying to get these out later in the week, but I'm quite pleased with the bit I've cleaned anyway. Might have to clean the rest of it, because my hands are absolutely filthy from it. Right, so anyway, that's that. Before we go, though, I have other things to show you. Let me put the top back on the brass before I knock it over, because I've done that before. Yeah. Right. Dodgy wires. They can go up there as well. Yeah, because I've had another box, you see, this week, as well as the world's dirtiest 332. This week I've also got the world's cleanest 332. The contrast of this is amazing. This one is so shiny. I've never seen Bakelite this shiny before. How they have done this, I do not know. It's got, you know, when you polish Bakelite, you often see like a bit of brown mottled stuff in it, which is actually the sort of fibres in the Bakelite. This hasn't got that at all. This is like a brand new case. This one, I mean, the dial rotates and everything on this, but I'm not sure what dial it's got though, this, because it looks different. This dial. Does anybody recognise that dial from that centre? Does anybody recognise what that is? Because I don't. This on this is a enamel enamel plate. So that's an early one, but I don't recognise that dial. So what I'm wondering is if this is something different. This is a 332 CB apparently. So if it was a CB, it wouldn't have had a dial, would it? If it was a CB set, it wouldn't have had a dial, so somebody's put a dial in it. Ah, so they've put a random dial in they've found from somewhere. Oh, right. Because it definitely says in there 332 CB. If you can. You can see in there under the clapper look 332 CB PX54/2A. So PX will be your manufacturer code, won't it? Who's PX? Don't know who PX is off the top of my head. But 332 CB. So if it was CB phone, look how clean this one is by comparison to the other. Then it wouldn't have had a dial, so somebody has put a dial into this at a later date. So me is thinking that whatever they've put in isn't a dial that should be in one of these, really. Could it be a dial 10 perhaps? Is it something weird from another part of the world? What is it? Is this a dial that would be more at home in a candlestick? Let's well, we'll do it another day. We'll take that apart another day and have a look at that, because I'm just conscious of time now. But yeah, that's arrived this week, and with that also came another case. Fire 300. Again, good condition. This one has got inserts in this case. I can see the brassy inserts in the holes sitting down here. But yeah, again, good condition case. But on the outside, you see, this is what I mean. I don't know if you can see this or not. This is what I mean about them having a sort of brown mottled effect on them. Can you see here how it's like mottled with brown? If I get it really close up to the camera, can you see that brown mottled effect? Well, on that other one, if I show you that one up really close, it ain't got that brown mottled effect at all. You see, it is properly black, that one. So yeah, so I don't know if you can polish them to remove that mottling. I don't know. I'll have to find out. Yeah. Nice case. So we've got that. And what else did I get in my box? I got another one. And this one is again just a case, but it's a case with a base. So this one's got a base on that I could put on that other one, you see. So so because I have got quite a few innards for 300 series with no cases for them, so I could make some up. So there is another one. And also here, final thing for today, I've got a handset. Somebody's cut the cord off it though. Why, oh why do they do that? And this one unscrews easily. There you go. Now there's no diaphragm on it, but that's easily replaced. But this is interesting because this is not a GPO handset. This is a GEC handset. Because if you look in the oval in the middle there, if I can get it in focus, which way am I going? That way? Which am I going for the light? Come on. There, look. GEC. Yeah? No, what am I doing here? I'm on the wrong bloody camera, aren't I? That's why I can't get it where it ought to be. It should be. Right, bear with me a sec. I will show it you closer. There, that's better. Right, if I switch cameras now, you can see it properly. There we go. If I can hold it still, GEC made in England. So this one is a GEC handset. Just refocusing my cameras. So yeah, interesting. So yeah, so one of these phones may be a GEC one. It might even be this one. Does it say 332 on the bottom? No, it doesn't actually. So it might be that that's a GEC phone because it doesn't say anything on the bottom of it. So it may be that that goes with that. So that's what's arrived this week, basically. That's all the stuff that's come. Yeah, it says that's correct for the GEC mirror phone. Wesley says I've got diagrams here for those receivers if you need one. I shall bear that in mind, Wesley. I might have got one. In fact, I'm sure I have got at least one kicking around somewhere. Dominic says the finger stop on that oddball dial looks Indian. That's not what you want to hear, really, is it? It's definitely a British phone, though, but the dial looks odd. Let's get it out again so we can show you it again. There we go. Yeah, the finger stop on it looks odd, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it does look a bit strange, this. Perhaps it's not Bakelite, this. Perhaps that's why it's so shiny. Perhaps it is Indian. But the innards do say 332CB PX54/2A on them. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. We'll investigate that one another day, I think. But, yeah. So, lots of interesting things happening. Yeah, now lots of stuff to ponder on this week. Gambo says, I've seen Siemens, but not a GEC Bakelite. Well, he says, I think it's a diaphragm 25 for that receiver, often pale green, if I recall. Yeah, I think you're right, Wesley. Dominic says, how's the radio station? Well, it's still there, Dominic, at the minute. Not a lot has happened with it at the moment. It is still there, but the trouble is, the room that the radio station is allegedly in is getting more and more cluttered up with other things that are not radio related, i.e. telephones and pianolas. Now, some of you may have seen the live Andy Shed that we did from the radio station. When did we do it? Was it at Easter? Where I played the pianola on the stream. I think it was Easter, wasn't it? I think it. Some of you may have seen that one. And Andy Shed live from the radio station. And I played a pianola because I got a pianola there that I've restored. I've now got a second one. And pianolas, there's two things about pianolas. They're not small, and they're not light either. So there's another one that's got to go in that room. Now Dominic's been in the radio station in that room. He knows how small it is. I've got to fit another pianola in there. So yes, it's getting a little cluttered. I could do with a bigger space really, but the problem with having a bigger space is places to rent. You know, like offices to rent or studios to rent or anything like that are so ridiculously expensive these days. So ridiculously expensive. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers what people want for a month's rent just for a room, basically. It's crazy. So finding a bigger space is not particularly easy to do. But yeah, we could do with doing something. We could do with finding a bigger space. So that is about it for today, I think. A big thanks to everybody for watching. It's going to take me about a week now to get cleaned up here because that dirty old phone has dropped loads of detritus everywhere. I've swept some of it into a pile here, look. But yeah, I need to go away and have a clean up now. But yeah, thanks to everybody for watching once again this week. If you do want to support the channel and you're not a patron already, you can become one. Just basically £1 a month. It's www.patreon.com/Andy's Shed, and you will get access to all the special Patreon content when I do special posts like I did this week, that only the patrons get to see. If you want to see them too, then you have to become a patron there using that link. Remember also, if you want to contact us, you can through the website andyshed.coldpress.net, and we've also got a forum, gpotelephones.proboards.com. But that is about as far as we are going to be going, I think, for this week. We will be back now, not next week, okay? Not next week, because next week I'm out at a stationary engine rally at Tissington in Derbyshire. If you happen to be around the village of Tissington next Sunday, we'll be there from about mid-morning till mid-afternoon for their vintage rally. It's a charity event, all in aid of charity. I think it's the air ambulance or something to support. So it's all for a good cause. If you happen to be in the area around the little very picturesque village of Tissington, come and see us, come and say hi. We will be there with a stationary engine, and then I will be back here same time, same place, 2 weeks today. 2 weeks today at 6:30 for another Andy's Shed Live. And who knows, I might have got one of these bits of telephone put back together by then. But from me, for now, have a fantastic week ahead, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye for now, everybody.